By the time Mehmed I first secured the Ottoman throne, there were no celebrations, no grand parades, no cheering crowds filling the streets. There was only silence, the kind of silence that follows disaster. Because the empire he inherited was not victorious, it was exhausted. For more than a decade, the Ottomans had been tearing themselves apart. Brothers fought brothers. Cities changed rulers overnight. Armies marched without knowing whose banner they truly served. The empire that once terrified Europe had nearly destroyed itself from within. And Mehmed knew something that few conquerors ever accept. Ruling after chaos is harder than winning during it. This was the middle age of Mehmed I's reign, and it would decide whether the Ottomans survived at all. Unlike other rulers, Mehmed did not begin his reign with new wars. He did not announce bold invasions or promise glory. He understood that expansion without stability would finish what civil war had started. His priority was repair. Quiet, unglamorous, essential repair. The first wounds he addressed were the roads. Years of conflict had turned trade routes into danger zones. Merchants avoided them. Villages suffered. Armies moving through destroyed what little remained. Mehmed ordered roads rebuilt not to move faster into war, but to reconnect an empire that had been cut into pieces. When roads returned, trade returned. When trade returned, life followed. Taxes came next. During the Civil War, tax collection had become arbitrary and brutal. Local governors squeezed the population to fund their own armies. Farmers abandoned land. Entire regions fell into poverty. Mehmed stabilized the tax system, not by making it lighter, but by making it predictable. People could endure hardship. What they could not endure was uncertainty. Governors remained in place, but they were watched closely. Mehmed did not fear ambition as much as cruelty. He understood that ambition could be managed. Cruelty created rebellion. Reports were sent directly to the capital. Complaints were investigated. Punishments were quiet but firm. The message spread quickly. The age of chaos was over. One of Mehmed's most delicate challenges was the military. During the Civil War, armies had become personal weapons. Loyalty shifted with opportunity. Mehmed knew that an empire cannot survive if its soldiers serve men instead of the state. He rebalanced power carefully. The Janissaries were strengthened, but disciplined more tightly than ever. Promotions were controlled, pay was regularized, commanders were rotated to prevent personal fiefdoms. Mehmed did not weaken the army. He professionalized it, turned it back into an institution rather than a collection of war bands. Religion too had suffered during the years of bloodshed. Religious leaders had been ignored, manipulated, or sidelined by rival princes seeking legitimacy. Mehmed moved quickly to repair this damage. He restored endowments, supported institutions that emphasized unity. He did not demand loyalty from scholars, he earned it. Mehmed understood something critical. Legitimacy cannot be announced. It must be accepted. Acceptance takes time. Rebellions still came. The empire was not healed overnight. Pretenders rose. Old rivalries resurfaced. But Mehmed responded differently than most rulers of his age. He acted quickly, decisively, and then stopped. There were no prolonged campaigns of terror, no endless purges. When resistance was crushed, order returned immediately. This approach shocked many. In a world accustomed to brutality, restraint became a weapon. People learned that rebellion would fail, but peace would last. Stability became more valuable than defiance. Beyond the empire's borders, foreign powers watched closely. Europe expected weakness. They expected internal fractures. They expected the Ottomans to remain distracted and divided. Instead, they saw something unsettling. A ruler who did not overreach, who did not provoke unnecessary wars, who secured borders without threatening everyone at once. This was not the behavior of a collapsing empire. This was consolidation. Mehmed did not chase glory, chased continuity. Every decision he made carried the memory of civil war. Every policy was designed to prevent it from ever happening again. He ruled like a man who had already seen the worst possible future and refused to return to it. There were no legendary battles during this phase of his reign, no cities dramatically taken, no enemies crushed in epic showdowns. And that is precisely why it mattered, because this was the age of groundwork. Without stable roads, there would be no marching armies. Without predictable taxes, there would be no funded state. Without disciplined soldiers, there would be no expansion. Without legitimacy, there would be no loyalty. Everything the Ottomans would later become was built here, quietly, patiently, methodically. History often ignores rulers like Mehmed I. They do not reshape maps overnight. They do not conquer famous cities. They do not leave behind dramatic legends. But they do something far more difficult. They make survival possible. This middle age of Mehmed I's reign was not about ambition. It was about restraint, not about speed, but control. It's not about glory, but memory. And because of that, when his reign eventually ended, the empire did not collapse again. It endured. What came later, the great conquests, the golden ages, the legends, all rested on this silent work. The work no one celebrates. The work no one remembers. But the work without which nothing else could exist. And that is why Mehmed I was not just a ruler who survived chaos. He was the ruler who taught an empire how to live after it.